like and subscribe. A galactic thief. Scanning the sophisticated security systems that stood between him and the quantum crystal, Alex.Rocker took a deep breath, his mind focused as he activated his wrist-mounted quantum disruptor. A faint, shimmering glow enveloped Alex as he phased through the first wall. The sensation was disorienting, but he'd grown used to it over the years. As he emerged on the other side, alarms blared, piercing the otherwise silent air. Red lights flashed and security robots began to mobilize. Right on cue, Alex muttered to himself, a smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth. He tapped a sequence on his disruptor, causing a brief flicker in the bank's surveillance system. For a few precious seconds, he was invisible to their electronic eyes. He darted down the corridor. Alex had planned every detail of this heist meticulously. The bank's layout was etched into his memory, and he navigated the twists and turns with ease. He approached the central vault, its massive reinforced door looming just ahead. The security robots were closing in, but Alex was undeterred. He placed his hand on the vault door and activated the disruptor again, and Alex slipped inside just as the first of the robots rounded the corner. Inside the vault, the quantum crystal sat atop a pedestal, its multifaceted surface refracting light into a dazzling array of colors. Alex reached out and carefully lifted the crystal from its resting place. As the alarms intensified, he knew he had only moments to make his escape. "Time to go," he whispered to himself, turning back to the vault door. The security robots were now in the corridor outside, their scanners searching for any trace of him. Alex glanced at his disruptor, its power levels dangerously low. He couldn't afford another full phase, but he had one last trick up his sleeve. While he let his disruptor charge, he reached into his utility belt and pulled out a small, spherical device. With a flick of his wrist, he tossed it into the corridor. The sphere exploded in a burst of blinding light, temporarily disabling the robots. Seizing the moment, Alex sprinted through the vault door and into the corridor, his path momentarily clear. Behind him, the alarms continued to wail, but Alex was already melting into the shadows. He clutched the quantum crystal tightly, a triumphant grin on his face. This was his greatest heist yet, and he had pulled it off flawlessly. "Better luck next time, Galactic Council," he said as he disappeared into the bustling streets. Unbeknownst to Alex, Detective Adrian Blake watched from a distance. He saw his quarry slip away once more. This time, Blake vowed, he wouldn't let Alex escape so easily. The game was on, and only one of them could emerge victorious. Detective Adrian Blake sat at his cluttered desk in the Galactic Council's headquarters, his eyes scanning through the endless streams of data flowing across his holographic display. The room was dimly lit, save for the blue glow of the monitors and the occasional flicker of a hovering drone passing by. Blake's face was etched with the marks of countless sleepless nights, his determination to bring justice evident in his steely gaze. Blake was a legend within the council. His record was impeccable, his methods meticulous, and his resolve unshakable. He had taken down some of the most dangerous criminals in the galaxy, but there was one name that had eluded him time and again: Alex.Rocker. "Sir, we have a hit," said a voice breaking the silence. Blake's young assistant, Agent Harper, approached with a tablet in hand, her expression one of urgency. Blake looked up. "What do you have, Harper?" "It's Rocker, sir. We received an anonymous tip-off. He's hitting the Galactic Central Bank tonight," Harper reported. Blake's eyes narrowed. "Anonymous tip, huh? Seems like someone's feeling generous. Mobilize the team. We're not letting him slip away this time." Harper nodded and hurried off to relay the orders. Blake stood and grabbed his coat, the familiar weight of his badge and weapon reassuring him. He had been chasing Alex.Rocker for years, each encounter a frustrating near miss, but tonight felt different. In the transport bay, Blake's team was already assembling. Elite agents, hand-picked for their skills and loyalty, stood at attention. They were a well-oiled machine, each member knowing their role to perfection. "Listen up," Blake began. "Rocker is hitting the Galactic Central Bank as we speak. This isn't just another heist. It's his most ambitious one yet. He's after a second quantum crystal. It could tip the balance of power if it falls into the wrong hands. We can't let that happen. The team nodded. They had all faced dangerous situations before, but the stakes tonight were higher than ever. Harper, I want you on comms. Keep an open channel and relay any updates immediately. Team Alpha, you'll secure the perimeter. Team Beta, you're with me. We're going in hot, Blake ordered. The transport shuttle roared to life, and within minutes they were airborne, the city's skyline a blur of lights beneath them. Blake's mind raced, strategizing every possible move Alex might make. He had studied Rocker's patterns, his methods, his psyche. This time, Blake was prepared for anything. As they approached the bank, the alarms were already blaring, echoing through the night. Blake's adrenaline surged, but he kept his composure. They landed with military precision, and the teams deployed in a coordinated sweep. Blake led Team Beta through the main entrance. The bank's high-tech security systems had been bypassed, evidence of Alex's handiwork. Blake knew they were close. Sir, we've secured the perimeter. No sign of Rocker yet. Harper's voice crackled through his earpiece. Keep looking. He's here somewhere, Blake responded. Moving deeper into the bank, Blake's team encountered a set of disabled security robots. Alex was ahead of them, but not by much. Blake's pulse quickened as they reached the vault, with its massive door ajar. Stay sharp, Blake whispered, signaling to his team to spread out. Inside the vault, they found the quantum crystal missing, its pedestal empty. Blake's jaw clenched. They were seconds too late. Team Beta, converge on the exit points. He can't have gone far, Blake commanded. As they fanned out, Blake's instincts kicked in. He had learned to think like Alex, to anticipate his moves. He turned a corner and saw a flash of movement, a shadow darting towards the back exit. There, Blake shouted, sprinting after the figure. The chase was on, and Blake felt a surge of determination. This was his moment, the culmination of years of pursuit. As he closed the distance, he could see Alex's silhouette, the quantum crystal clutched tightly in his hand. But just as Blake was about to catch him, Alex turned and smiled, activating his quantum disruptor. In a blinding flash, he phased through the wall and disappeared into the night. Blake skidded to a halt, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He screamed, "I will catch you, Alex Rocker, no matter how long it takes. The game is far from over." The night was quiet as Alex Rocker navigated the alleys of the city, his heart still racing from the heist. He found refuge in his small, dimly lit apartment hidden in the lower levels of the city, far from the prying eyes of the Galactic Council. As Alex placed the quantum crystal on a cluttered workbench, his mind drifted back to a time before he became the galaxy's most wanted thief. Alex was once a respected quantum physicist, a prodigy in his field. He worked at the prestigious Quantum Research Institute, pushing the boundaries of science and technology. Alex's colleagues, threatened by his brilliance, conspired against him. They forged evidence and accused him of falsifying data, a serious offense that could ruin a scientist's career. Alex was blindsided by the betrayal. He had trusted these people, shared his discoveries with them, and now they were destroying his reputation to further their own. Despite his pleas of innocence, the Institute's board sided with his accusers. Alex was stripped of his position, his research confiscated, and his name tarnished. He was cast out, left with nothing but a burning desire for revenge and a deep mistrust of the system that had failed him. Alex snapped back to the present. His jaw clenched as he remembered the humiliation and loss. But he had turned that pain into purpose. The skills he had once used to advance science were now his tools of rebellion. He became a thief, not for the thrill or the riches, but to undermine the very system that had betrayed him. His heists were meticulously planned, each one targeting corrupt institutions and wealthy elites who exploited the powerless. He stole from those who thought themselves untouchable, using the profits to fund underground networks that provided aid and protection to those in need. To many, he was a criminal, but to the disenfranchised, he was a hero. But it wasn't just revenge that drove him. Alex found a sense of fulfillment in his new life. He was finally free from the shackles of bureaucracy, able to use his intellect and skills in ways that mattered. Every heist was a statement to the corrupt powers that be. As he examined the quantum crystal, Alex knew that his latest heist was his most significant yet. The singularity key was more than just a powerful artifact, and since there was only 4 of them in existence, it was a symbol of control. In the wrong hands, it could be used to dominate entire worlds. In his hands, it could be a beacon of hope for the resistance. Alex's thoughts were interrupted by a soft beep from his communicator. It was a message from one of his contacts in the underground network. "Great job tonight, Alex. The people are inspired, but be careful. Detective Blake is getting closer." Alex sighed, rubbing his temples. Adrian Blake was a formidable opponent, relentless and cunning. Their encounters had become increasingly frequent and dangerous. Blake was a man of principle, and Alex knew he wouldn't rest until he brought him to justice. But Alex wasn't ready to give up. He had come too far and sacrificed too much. He would continue his mission no matter the cost. The battle between Alex and the system was far from over. He was a man on a mission, driven by a complex mix of revenge, justice, and the desire to carve out a meaningful existence in a galaxy that had cast him aside. As long as there were wrongs to right and people to protect, Alex Rocker would continue to walk the fine line between hero and villain. The dim glow of multiple holographic screens bathed Alex Rocker in light as he meticulously examined every detail of the Quantum Order's facility. The Singularity Key, a device capable of generating limitless energy, was housed within its heavily fortified walls. Stealing it would be his most ambitious and dangerous heist yet, but the potential impact was too significant to ignore. Alex leaned back in his chair, eyes fixed on the blueprint of the Quantum Order's facility. Every inch of the building was designed with cutting-edge security measures, quantum-locked doors, adaptive energy fields, motion-sensing lasers, and patrols of heavily armed guards. Even for someone of his skills, it was a daunting challenge. "All right, let's break this down," he muttered to himself, activating a holographic model of the facility. He zoomed in on the northwest corner, where an auxiliary maintenance tunnel provided the best entry point. It was less monitored, but still required bypassing several layers of security. "Phase through here. Avoid the first set of motion sensors," Alex noted, marking the path on his virtual map. Once inside, the complexity increased. The main corridor leading to the Singularity Key's chamber was lined with adaptive energy fields that adjusted their frequency to prevent tampering. Alex would need to sync his disruptor to the exact modulation frequencies, a task requiring precise timing and skill. The heart of the facility's security lay in the central hub, a room filled with advanced AI surveillance systems. Alex needed to hack into this system to create a diversion, pulling guards away from the Singularity Key's chamber. "I'll need a backdoor access code," Alex mused, typing in commands to simulate the hack. "Maybe I can plant a virus during the initial breach." He made a mental note to contact his informant within the Quantum Order, someone who could provide the necessary access codes and intel on guard rotations. The chamber itself was a marvel of engineering. Reinforced titanium walls, a quantum-locked vault door, and an array of biometric scanners protected the Singularity Key. Alex's plan involved using a decoy to trick the biometric scanners while simultaneously deploying an EMP device to temporarily disable the quantum lock. "I'll need to build a custom EMP," he decided, jotting down the specifications. "And the decoy, perhaps a holographic emitter synced to my biometrics." The final hurdle was the escape. Once the Singularity Key was in his possession, every alarm in the facility would be triggered. The backup security would be on high alert, making the exit as crucial as the entry. "Emergency evacuation route here." Alex pinpointed a secondary maintenance tunnel leading to the surface. "Have a getaway vehicle prepped and ready." He paused, running through the plan in his mind, visualizing each step. The risks were immense, but so were the rewards. If successful, he would not only strike a significant blow against the powers that be, but also provide a beacon of hope to those oppressed by their control. With the plan set, Alex turned his attention to the finer details. He spent the next few days gathering equipment, refining his disruptor's calibration, and testing the EMP device. Every piece had to work flawlessly. There was no room for error. Late one night, as he made final adjustments to his gear, Alex received a message from his informant within the Quantum Order. The access codes and guard schedules were attached, along with a warning. They know someone is coming. Be careful. Alex smirked, appreciating the challenge. Let them try to stop me, he muttered. He packed his gear, double-checking every item, and took a moment to center himself. This was it, the culmination of years of planning and preparation. The Singularity Key heist would either be his greatest triumph or his downfall. As he left his hideout, Alex blended into the night, a phantom on a mission. The Quantum Order had no idea what was coming, and neither did Detective Adrian Blake, who was always just a step behind. The Singularity Key's chamber was silent. Alex had bypassed the biometric scanners and deactivated the quantum lock with his custom EMP device. The Singularity Key was within reach. Just as his fingers brushed the cool surface of the crystal, the chamber door slammed shut. Red lights bathed the room, and an alarm blared. Alex spun around as Detective Adrian Blake stepped into the room, his weapon drawn and aimed squarely at Alex's chest. "Game over, Rocker," Blake said. "You're not walking out of here with that key." Alex's mind raced. He had anticipated a lot, but not this. "Blake," he said, "you've got it wrong. The Quantum Order plans to use this key to control everything. I'm trying to stop them." Blake's eyes flickered with doubt for a fraction of a second before hardening. "Save your excuses for the council. Drop the key and surrender." Alex and Blake circled each other, their eyes locked in a battle of wills. Alex knew he couldn't overpower Blake physically, but he could outthink him. "You're making a mistake, Blake," Alex said, edging closer to a control panel. "This key can bring down the Quantum Order's entire operation." Blake's expression remained resolute. "And you think stealing it is the answer? You're a thief, Alex. Nothing more." Alex smirked, a plan forming in his mind. Maybe, but sometimes it takes a thief to foil a tyrant. In a sudden move, Alex flung a small device at Blake's feet. It exploded in a burst of light and smoke, temporarily blinding and disorienting him. Seizing the moment, Alex darted to the control panel and input a series of commands, sealing the chamber door and activating a lockdown protocol. Blake recovered quickly. "You won't get away, Rocker." Alex backed towards an emergency exit with the Singularity Key secure in his grasp. "I already have, Detective, but don't worry. You'll get another chance to catch me." With that, Alex activated the emergency exit, the door sliding open just enough for him to slip through. Blake lunged forward, but the door sealed shut behind Alex, leaving the detective trapped inside the chamber. Blake pounded his fist against the door. He had been so close, but Alex had outmaneuvered him once again. The game was far from over, and both men knew it. As Alex disappeared into the night, he couldn't help but admire Blake's tenacity. Their paths were destined to cross again, but for now, he had the Singularity Key, and with it, a chance to change the galaxy. Alex confronts Detective Blake as he hid in the shadows of the car lot. The air was thick with tension. "Blake," he called out from the mist. "Blake, listen to me," Alex said urgently. "The Quantum Order isn't what you think. They plan to use the Singularity Key to control power galactic-wide. They'll manipulate world governments, economies, everything." Blake's eyes narrowed, his grip on his weapon tightening. "And I'm supposed to believe you? A thief?" Alex stepped closer. "I have proof, data files, recordings. The Order is more corrupt than you can imagine. I'm not doing this for personal gain. I'm trying to stop them." Blake hesitated, the weight of his badge and the law pressing down on him. "Why should I trust you?" "Because, deep down, you know something's wrong," Alex replied. "You've seen the signs, the inconsistencies. You can uphold the law and let them win, or you can help me expose the truth and save countless lives." The silence stretched between them, the moral dilemma hanging in the air. Blake's principles clashed with the undeniable logic of Alex's words. Arresting Alex would mean maintaining the status quo, but if what Alex said was true, the consequences were far graver. Blake lowered his weapon, a grim resolve settling over his features. "All right, Rocker, I'll help you, but if you betray me, I'll take you down myself." Alex nodded. "I wouldn't expect anything less, Detective." Alex Rocker and Detective Adrian Blake stood before a massive holographic screen, their faces illuminated by the data cascading across it. They had hacked into the Quantum Order's secure servers, unearthing damning evidence of their plans to use the Singularity Key to dominate the galaxy. "Ready?" Alex asked, his fingers poised over the control panel. Blake nodded. "Do it." With a single command, the data streamed across every major broadcast channel in the galaxy. News anchors appeared on screens, their expressions turning from confusion to shock as the truth unfolded before them. "Breaking news. Explosive revelations about the Quantum Order's secret agenda," one anchor announced. "Documents and recordings provided by anonymous sources reveal a conspiracy to control galactic power through the Singularity Key. Images of high-ranking officials within the Quantum Order, secret meetings, and plans for galactic manipulation flashed across screens. The public reaction was immediate and intense. Protests erupted, leaders demanded accountability, and the Quantum Order's stronghold on power began to crumble. Blake watched the chaos unfold. He turned to thank Alex, but the thief was already gone, vanished into the shadows. A small note was left behind. "The fight isn't over. Stay vigilant." Blake pocketed the note, knowing that their paths would likely cross again. He took a deep breath and stepped forward, ready to face the inevitable scrutiny and questions. In the days that followed, Blake was summoned before the Galactic Council. The room was grand and imposing, filled with dignitaries and officials. The council's leader, a stern-faced woman, addressed him. "Detective Blake, your actions have exposed a grave threat to our galaxy. While unconventional, they have saved countless lives. For your bravery and dedication, we commend you." Blake accepted the commendation, the medal heavy in his hand, but as he stood there, the applause ringing in his ears, his mind was elsewhere. He reflected on the journey, the fine line he had walked between right and wrong, law and justice. He had always believed in upholding the law, but Alex had shown him that sometimes the ends justified the means. The true victory was not in the commendation, but in his newfound understanding of moral complexity. As he left the council chamber, Blake looked up at the night sky, the stars twinkling with endless possibilities. He knew the galaxy was a better place because he had dared to challenge the status quo, to see beyond black and white, and to embrace the shades of gray that define true justice. This is not goodbye, nor the end. Until the story continues, my friends. B.N.Rocker.